Okay, so the sky is falling. Like many California classic car owners, I received this letter. I blocked out the stuff you don't need to see from the California Air Resources Board, basically asking how much I drive, how I store, and how much fuel I leave in my 1969 Chevy Impala that's sitting right behind me. Keep in mind, gas is $6.50 a gallon currently. That is a 7-liter motor, a 427 big block in that car. Trust me, I don't drive this car every day. It's not my daily. So just like most classic cars, it is not driven daily. Now, when this letter came out, there was a lot of concern. In fact, when I first got it, I kind of waited. I said, okay, I'll do a video on it once I find out really what's going on with it. And that actually took a while because I got this in early August. People did post in my Facebook group, which is Californians for Classic Car Smog Exemptions, about the letter. There was initial excitement because people thought, well, maybe they're really finally trying to figure out that nobody drives these old cars every day and that they would finally push through a classic car smog exemptions. But I hate to disappoint everybody, but yeah, apparently that is not what the letter was about, unfortunately. Brief history of this channel. Started out as my stand-up comedy videos when I tried to do stand-up. And then later on, when I started the Facebook group, I did some videos on getting classic car smog exemptions rolling in the state of California so we could get it moved past 1976. We did get some there were some bills introduced into the California Assembly and Senate. None of them got voted on, so they weren't voted down, but they won't vote it up because they won't even vote it on at all, which was kind of sad. So they all kind of died in committee. I had a friend of mine out of state tell me, hey Mike, if you want people to see those videos, you have to do other car videos to fill it in. So there's a video up pretty much every week. And that's when I started filming car shows. And any regular view of the channel knows, anybody that goes over and looks at the channel knows this has really turned into it's a car events and car show and swap meet channel now, and it's sort of become my thing. And I really enjoy doing it, which is weird that I probably would have never found doing that without first doing the smog videos and starting the Facebook group. So it's kind of weird how life works. But it's been an overall positive thing, a positive thing in my life, obviously. So then after that, there was speculation, because it's actually in the news, and you can look this up. This is a very real thing. California has been evaluating the possibility of doing these zero emission zones, which I guess has popped up in Europe, where they have city centers that are very congested, and they decided to ban older vehicles from the city centers, I believe, during the week. Otherwise, you have to pay a massive fee. And obviously in Europe, they do have classic cars. The city centers are way more dense because they're older. Obviously, they have way better public transportation. Obviously, their public transportation is much cleaner and safer than it is in Los Angeles or the Bay Area, where a lot of people have actually gotten off public transportation because it's gotten so bad. And you can look that up. There's all sorts of things. I'd say every day or every other day in the local news, there's something bad that happened on public transportation. So like when I was my daughter's age, I used to take public transportation all over Los Angeles. There's no way I would let her do that the way things are right now, and that's my personal opinion. So you know, everyone drives here, which obviously there's a lot of traffic. However, not everyone drives old cars every day. That is like a very rare instance these days. You got to remember, they're looking with this letter at 1978 and older. 1978, let's do the math, is 45 years ago. Not a lot of people driving 1978 and older vehicles every day. That's just common knowledge. Like, there's no debate there. It's just not a thing. Unless it's been updated with like an LS or something, and then you're basically driving a car with a much newer engine, and that kind of negates the whole argument against that. Which there are a few guys that do daily LS swapped vehicles and things of that nature, or other swaps, Coyote, Modern Hemi, things like that. So yesterday, this was just yesterday. This is why I finally made this video now. This is like the first article where I see people have actually talked to CARB, which I can't imagine is an easy thing to do. It says, this is an article in Hemmings, so obviously everybody knows Hemmings. It's in the classic car hobby, so that is a reliable source. That's what you call a reliable source. It's done by a Hurlin, is the author of the article. I'm hoping her name is pronounced Tara. My sister's name is Tara, and when people call her Tara, she gets really angry. So, her name could be Tara. Who knows? And so, the article is California really preparing to restrict classic car usage? Is the name of the article, and I will put a link that works. That it does not currently. It's not behind a paywall. I was able to pull it up and read it, and I will put it in the video description on this video so you can actually read the entire article yourself. But there's one paragraph of note, and this is where they get the quotes from California Air Resources Board. It says this is the paragraph, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, told Hemmings the classic car usage survey and similar surveys are, quote, simply routine data updates, unquote, to ensure their overall vehicle fleet data is accurate and that it has, quote, nothing to do with vehicle bans, unquote. So you could take that for what you were. I would think in the future, since they are looking into these zero emission zones, and we know how everybody who's been in California knows how it works, that there may be a fight ahead at some point to make sure we can drive these cars, we can take them to car shows, we can go out and get ice cream in it, or drive it around when we're tuning it, or take it to a repair shop, or do whatever we need to do with these cars. And that may come in the future, but according to this, I would call that a reputable source. Right now, they are not looking into banning these cars. That's of right now. I'm not saying in the future. I'm not saying, I know someone's going to comment something like, can you trust them, all that sort of stuff. I'm not getting into a whole thing. I don't want to hear anybody yelling and screaming about various politicians. This is a fact of this, and this also goes back to the trying to get the emissions year moved up. We need people of all backgrounds, because I know there are people who are liberal, who are environmentalists, and they're still into cars, and they get that these cars are not used every day. They get that. But then, of course, there's people that are more extreme that don't get that. So, but we need people of all political backgrounds, all backgrounds in general, of the classic car hobby to band together when something like this pops up, if there's a threat in the future, and also to try to get the emissions law bumped up. I mean, you got to remember they just killed the cruising ban. And that was a big thing. It was in the news, and there was all these like lowrider cruises to celebrate the lifting of the cruising ban. That was a state, it was either an assembly or a Senate bill that lifted the cruising ban. So there are some instances where they've listened to classic car people in Sacramento. It's up to us to not like throw a lot of noise their way, but throw legitimate arguments their way, and try to get things like this done, and to make sure that this hobby continues. Because I like shooting car show videos. I like going to I've been going to car shows since I was a little kid. I still own 2 classic cars that were my father's when he was still alive, that I still own of his. And I'd like to keep passing this on to my daughter. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. As for where it says they want to talk to car people, it's very easy to talk to car people. Just show up at a car show. I have a tentative list in every one of my comment sections on my videos now that have the shows that I go to. And it's very easy to find a list of car shows in your area. And these car shows, a lot of times they benefit charities. A lot of charities rely on these car shows as a major supporter of their cause. A lot of them support police and fire organizations. A lot of cities use them as community outreach. I've been to numerous shows where the mayor or the vice mayor are one of the judges. Most people understand that classic cars are a part of our history, and classic car events are a positive thing for our community. And they understand that. And they understand that you don't go out for a drive on a normal day during the week, it doesn't look like one of the cruising scenes from American Graffiti. There aren't a bunch of old cars out there on the road. These are a special thing, and they're in the hearts of classic car enthusiasts here in the state of California. It's very important to us that we keep these cars on the road, that we're able to drive these cars, and we're able to enjoy them, and we're able to bring them out to shows and different events so other people can enjoy them as well. Like I said, not a normal video. We're back next week. It's supposed to rain tomorrow and Sunday, so I'm probably not going to film anything this weekend, car show-wise. Next week, I've got San Bernardino, Route 66 Rendezvous. Speaking of a show that is very important to that community, because that community, let's face it, hasn't been on the best of times for many years, and that's a huge deal in that community. And then the following day, on that Sunday, I've got the Long Beach Swap Meet. Lots of other great events coming up in October, which will be finishing off the month at SEMA in Las Vegas, which is always a big video for me. And I will announce I did sign up for the long haul. The Hot Rod Magazine just announced the Hot Rod Power Tour West. Speaking of big events that are going to bring tourists into California for a car event, that's going to go from Irwindale Speedway to Las Vegas and back to Pomona Speedway, and that's in mid-December. So I signed up for the long haul crew. I'm planning on doing it in my 1990 Mustang. So that event's coming up. Be sure to be sure to subscribe to the channel. If there's any other updates on this or anything else, smog, or even if you just like watching car show and swap meet videos, subscribe to the channel. Leave a nice comment. I don't want to see us get all angry. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.